Welcome to Study Loop.
Let's make a substitution to express this given fraction as a rational function. Since we see that sign in the numerator, let's go ahead and choose u to be cosine. The du is negative sine x, so let me write this as negative du equals sine x dx. So then, coming to our integral, let's pull out that minus sign from the du. And we have a du here. That will give us that negative du gives us the sine x dx. Then in the bottom, this is just u squared minus 3u by our definition of u. Now, let's go ahead and we see a quadratic in the denominator. So before we ever do the partial fractions, we should always check that it's factored. Here we can pull out a u, and then there's left over u minus 3 left over. Now for a moment, let's ignore the integral. Let's go to the side and write out our fraction. We can write this as a over u, and then b over u minus 3. This is what the author calls case 1, distinct linear factors in the denominator, and they're not repeated. Let's multiply both sides of this equation by the denominator on the left. When we do so, we have 1 on the left, a u minus 3 plus bu, and then let's pull out that u, and there are constant term minus 3a. So on the left, we see that the constant term is 1. On the right, the constant term with no u, that's minus 3a. So we must have minus 3a equals 1. And here on the right, the constant in front of the u, or next to the u, is a plus b. But on the left, it's 0 because there's no u. So you can go ahead and solve this 2 by 2 system. The first equation in red gives you a. And the second equation tells you that b is minus a. That's positive 1/3. So we find our values for a and b. Let's plug them into this partial fraction decomposition here. And then we'll replace the fraction that we had with the partial fraction. And now we're ready to integrate. And don't forget that minus on the outside. I'm running out of room here, so let me go to the next page. Negative. Then we have negative 1/3 for a over u. And then plus 1/3 for b, u minus 3. Now you may memorize how to do this integral, the second one, even though there's a minus 3 there. If that minus 3 is bothering you, go ahead and do a u sub. In this case, let me use the letter w, and that should work. So now, watch out for the cancellation of the minuses here. So that's a plus 1 over 3 natural log of u. And then that becomes a minus 1 over 3 natural log, and then this time u minus 3 plus c, our constant of integration. The last step is just to replace u with cosine. That was the definition of u from the previous page. So plug that in here. This equation becomes 1 over 3 natural log absolute value cosine minus 1 over 3 natural log absolute value, then cosine x minus 3, and then our constant of integration. And that's our answer.